So a big thing about my upbringing and like I played soccer in college. I lived with a couple Africans straight from Ghana. Like I care about culture and what makes people tick. So going out there and showing them that we care enough to see how they live, where they're from, to take care of them, their output on the business side is going to be 10x. And two, relationships are everything. So I'm going to be able to have a relationship and an experience with these people that I'm never going to be able to do again. So, and then also it's the same thing for my team. Like we have a team member, our project manager, he's 23 years old. He's from the boonies of Ohio. He's never been on a flight before.
When did you start developing a team? Like what, like eventually like you do this for a while. I did it by myself for like a year and a half before I even hired a VA. That's like how I decided to do it. But like when do you start, when did you decide to start scaling? Why did you start scaling? Like let's go through your story, and then after like I'll get into like when should someone else start scaling too?
I love it. Yeah, great question. And even before that, people scale way too fast. I think the word scale is thrown around way too loosely. People scale chaos, which is not always the best thing. But everything it came together kind of all at the same time for me. So I was wholesaling. I like to say I was half-ass wholesaling because I was sending out marketing every now and again, wondering why I'm not having deals and why I don't. But it was because I wasn't consistently marketing. So I was still a full-time home inspector at this time. I'm working 80, 90 hours a week for my dad trying to build his business. He didn't have any employees. It was me trying to get the phone to ring. So I was learning small business and then trying to build my side hustle on the side. So I was doing an inspection for an investor and another investor was selling it. So that other investor was actually not the best man. He officiated my wedding 6 years later. So it's funny, but he was selling my now business partner a house. He was hungover 20 minutes late. So we got 20 minutes to hang out at this house and kind of just two strangers talk and meet. And then next thing you know, 3 or so months later, we became business partners because he came from a car sales and car lot background. So he owned car lots and he did car sales. I came from a home inspection, construction, and I was well networked. So we started talking about what I was doing marketing wise. He was starting out his wholesaling journey as well as me. We ended up saying, hey, let's just try this together. He took what I was doing in the texting and we ended up getting our first deal together within like 2 weeks of working it. And that first year we did about 50 wholesale deals together.
Ah, damn. Nice.
Yeah, it blew up.
That's pretty cool. So what do you feel like? So in the wholesaling business, do you feel like he's the integrator or like he's more COO, you're more CEO type of thing? Or how do you feel about it?
100%. I'm definitely the visionary. He's more the integrator. If you guys follow me, I saw a couple people in the comments. They follow me on Instagram. You said people know me from there. He will never post a video. A lot of people don't even know who he is. And that's what he wants. He wants to be able to make a lot of money, be able to do it from wherever he wants. And he's a wizard at that stuff. So we basically split it out in the beginning. He was going to do acquisitions. I was going to do dispo. So he would find them. I would sell them. And then at the time, we didn't go straight into like 50-50. We're going to do this. Like we did it. We split the assignment fees each way. And then we felt each other out. So we didn't hop into like this marriage, quote unquote, right away. We made sure that our ethics aligned. We were making sure that we liked each other. We trusted each other. So as time went on, we were like, okay, this makes sense. Let's do it together. And it ended up blowing up. And now the way our business is set up, we have quite a few businesses in one. So when you talk about scale, it all started with wholesaling. So the first person that we hired was acquisitions. So to get him off the phones and work more on the data and getting more leads to come in. And so we hired acquisitions. And then as time went on, we got a virtual assistant to do the data and the management stuff. And I'm still working full-time in my inspection company at that time too. And he was full-time in our business. So we were relieving his daily duties. And then I ended up quitting inspections. And then we kind of went all in on growing the business from there.
So I find it interesting in the sense that usually the integrator or the COO person doesn't do acquisitions.
Yeah.
I found that is rare.
Yeah.
Right. Like why was he doing the acquisitions? Was he just like a natural sales killer anyways? Or like what happened there? You're probably the only person I know where that was the split. Usually the integrator does the dispositions.
So came from, so he's actually very to himself. He's not really that outwardly a killer on the phone. He's calculated. He knows what to say, but he's not like a one call close type guy. He came from an old school. So when he was 19, to give him a little background to him, he was at Ohio State. He got a car. He got a job at a car lot. So this OG car lot guy, he got a job there, and it was old school sales. So he would be on the phones. He says like the guy would be throwing stuff at him on the phone to try and like make sure he can still talk. Old school stuff. So he had just been comfortable with talking on the phone and making a living being on the phone, whether he liked it or not. It's just what it is, not his personality to be a killer. So as time went on, he's like, dude, I'm not scared of the phone. I'll do it. I don't love it, but I'll do it, and I'm good at it. So that's why he did that.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So when do you feel like someone should scale, right? I know you said that way too many people are scaling way too quickly. At what point do you scale, right? I have an answer for this, but I want to know yours.
So for me, you have to be able to run every part of the business before you hire it out. So making sure that if you want to hire an acquisition, if your acquisition person is talking to a seller and stumbling through it, if you can't pick up your phone and take that and show them how to do each job, same with dispo, same with transaction coordination, same with construction management, whatever it is, then you're not fit to scale that business because you don't know how to run it. Or you need to spend a lot of money on somebody that is well more equipped. But if you're bootstrapping a business, you don't have the money to scale usually right away. So you're dumping money right back in. So you need to put revenue first. You need to get acquisitions and you need to start pumping leads and deals in. And then as that goes on, you just got to add people to take that off your plate and add more income producing activities to your plate, which is maybe starting another vertical, going and flipping houses, going to start an education company, whatever it is. That's the way I look at scaling.
I love it. And then also how, so I know it made sense with him in that moment, right? Like it seemed like we got some skills, all of that stuff.
Yep.
What do you feel like you're still partners with him?
Yep.
What do you feel like? Because that's how long of a partnership is that? 6 years, something like
Yeah.
that?
5 years.
5 years. How do you feel like you made that partnership work, right? I know lots of partners break up.
Great
A
question.
lot of partners choose like the wrong people. How do you choose the right partner? How do you know like that's the one?
So the first thing is not jumping in bed right away and signing an LLC 50-50 right away. It's like when you meet your spouse, like when I met my wife, first night I wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna put a ring on it, let's get married. You know, I make jokes about that, but it takes time. So making sure that your ethics align, your morals align. So as time went on, we felt each other out. And then also dividing your responsibilities and never wavering from that as well. So being able to trust somebody that they're working just so I come from a background, my dad is I'm not gonna say workaholic, but he works his ass off and it's been ingrained in me. So finding somebody that's willing to work and I don't ever have to think they're working as hard or harder than me every single day towards a common goal. So not stepping on toes, not worrying about who's getting paid what, but working together towards a common goal, but doing different roles while you're doing it. That's the best way and only way to me a partnership will work.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Cool. Cool. And then so what like so we got wholesaling, we've got flipping. What other businesses are you doing now from this partnership?
Yeah. So I own about 70 rentals, 50 or so, 55, I bet are with him. And so we own those rentals together. We do the burn method. So a lot of the wholesale deals that we were buying or selling, we ended up buying because we were making money. Our goals were aligned, like I said, and we both wanted to own rentals. So we started buying more and more of those together. And we manage those rentals in-house together. So we have a property management company. We have our flipping company. We have our wholesaling company. We had an Airbnb company, which we just kind of dissolved. And then we have an education company.
Nice. Cool. Which one's your favorite? Which one do you like the most?
I love wholesaling. Wholesaling is amazing. It's great. The education side's really fun too. I mean, being able to help people and see people you're kind of talking to yourself 5 years ago. So I'm teaching people that were having those hurdles or fears or failures and helping them through those is really fun.
So talk to me about education, right? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people in education, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But like I love talking to people about it because I think it is super useful. I think people always need a mentor or coach or someone to help them out when they're just starting. So before we talk about your education, who was your mentor? When did you get a mentor? When did you get someone to start showing you the ropes and start learning stuff from?
That's a great question, man. So I never really got quote unquote a real estate mentor, but my mentor is in real estate. I'll say I have two. So the one that I paid for 3 years ago, his name's Austin Rutherford. He was in Columbus. He's a bald guy. He lives in Florida now.
He's been on Skorch the Fears before. I've had him on. I was gonna ask you if you knew him because I was like, Columbus is
Yeah.
also the same guy.
My mentor and great friend now. Super, super good dude, high level business guy. He was crushing it in Columbus when I was getting into the space. I would go to his meetups and I was just like, this dude's 25. He's where I want to be. Like, it's a no brainer. Like, I need to know what he knows. I don't care what the ticket is. I didn't have any money when I paid him too. So it was him. And then the guy that I told you that came hungover to that, let me meet my business partner. He actually owns 300 single family houses in Columbus. So I never really paid him for mentorship, but he ended up kind of being like a big brother to me. So I've learned a lot about how to build a portfolio, manage property, and really like look at wealth differently from him.
I love it. I love it a lot. So yeah, so talk a little bit about your education company, right? Like what are your goals with it? What do you teach? Like talk a little bit about how it's a little bit different than everybody else's, right? Like talk a little bit about your education side.
Yeah, so right away, like everybody has a coaching program. So ours, we're not coaching, we're building a community. So we're helping people find and network with other people. We have every resource that they need. So we're teaching how to wholesale at a high level from a beginner all the way to high level and how to flip properties. We're going to add Burr method in there here soon. But we run everything because we realized, so I was in a program before and we realized a lot of people don't go through like the actual course content. It's more about being there for the questions and putting the pieces together for them. So guiding them in the right direction and having resources and questions to be answered at all times. So we have it, it's almost like a Discord. So we have it on a Slack message. It's 30 different channels. Most people go into Facebook groups. Ours is I have industry experts in every single thing. So general contracting, for example, I have my friend who's done 2,000 jobs and flips as a contractor. He sits in that channel and answers people's questions on general contracting. So we have industry experts from every single field that are there to answer and give people support anytime they need it. So it's high level education, it's high level support, and getting questions answered in real time.
Gotcha. Cool. And then I'm assuming it's all over the nation. It's not just people in
Yep.
Columbus, Ohio. It's everywhere. All right, cool. What's your favorite part about being a mentor, a coach, a community leader? Like, what does it do for you? I'm starting very slowly to be creating a community. There's like a few people who watch a lot of my stuff who are on here right now, like Luke, Ahmad. I noticed those two names are ones that I see, and I'm starting to create it through my social media.
Yeah.
But what do you feel like I guess let's start with this. Just what have you gotten out of creating a community? Let's just start with there, like just personally or in any way you want to answer that question. And then we'll start there. Let's just start with that.
Yeah. So personally, so within a community, so social media is the stem of the community. So everybody that comes is typically from social media. So putting yourself out there, and once you're out to the public or you're a mentor to somebody, you need to sharpen yourself first before you can help anybody else. So it's helped me become a better man and really like sit down and make sure I'm doing all the right things. Because if I'm out there messing around, doing the wrong things, these people are looking up to me. I'm one of 5 kids. I'm the oldest boy. That's kind of how I look at it as my family. Like if I'm not being that person for my family, then what do I expect them to do? So it really sharpens me to become a better man and help these people out more. So it starts internally. And I mean, just people, even if they're in my community or not, like I get DMs on Instagram. Hey man, I've been following you for 2 years. I just closed my first rental property. I just did my first flip because I watched all your videos. Thank you so much. Like that stuff, you can't really put a price on how cool that is.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I get more joy out of helping other people get deals than me get deals. I mean, I still get a rush from like 100K deal every once in a while, but in comparison to when I see somebody else get something from me and then they get their first deal, that's still a better feeling. I still feel like, or at least pretty damn close, right? So yeah, I mean, like, what's your team now? I feel like you run a pretty big team. I've been following you on IG. I saw like a photo of all of you guys together celebrating some goals that were hit, right? So what's your team look like now?
Yeah, so we've got about 10 American staff, so US soil staff. So we've got 2 sales acquisitions in our wholesaling. We've got a full-time dispo, full-time office manager, TC. my business partner, full-time content creator. His name's Robbie. We have, man, I always forget people. Project manager, full-time, project manager assistant, full-time property manager, full-time maintenance staff member. My mom, who retired from her teaching job of 30 years to sell all my real estate and be my realtor and or designer. Man, I always miss somebody. Who is it? I think that's it right now. And then we have cool, because after we do this call tonight, I'm packing up and my whole and we
Wow.
moved to a private island to take all of our Filipino team and meet how they live across the world and show appreciation for our team.
So let's talk about that, because that's pretty sick, right? I don't know plenty of people who have Filipino VAs, but talk about why you did that. Like, why did you want to do it where like you're willing to?
Yeah, so the first thing is, like, everybody looks at VAs as a means to an end. At them as just like another name, but these are real people. They're just not in your office. They're across the world. Played soccer in college. I lived with a couple Africans straight from Ghana. Like, I care about culture and showing them that we care enough to see how they live, where they're from, to take care of them. That's gonna, their output on the business side is going to be 10x. And two, relationships are everything. So I'm going to be able to have a relationship and an experience with these people that I'm never going to be able to do again. So, and then also it's the same thing for my team. Like, we have a team member, our project manager. He's 23 years old. He's from the boonies of Ohio. He's never been on a flight before. So tomorrow we're going to get on a 16-hour flight from JFK to Hong Kong, and it's going to be his first flight ever. So
Wow.
changing people's lives.
That's one hell of a first flight. Jesus Christ.
Right. So it's just showing people. So a team, especially when you're the boss and you're running an investing company, these people are believing in your dream. So one of my mentors said, your dreams have to be so big if you want to be an actual boss, that those people's dreams have to fit inside of your dreams. So we need to show them what it's like to do this stuff. So taking them across the world and showing them these cultures and this stuff, they're going to, like, that's how you build a team that's going to love you forever. And this is going to be like family. I run my business like I would a family.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Like, I'll do my little rant of how to run a business is like the best way to do it is run it based on your core values,
Yep.
right? Like, actually mean what you say. I've
Yep.
said my core values so much that my company repeats it back to me. Until they start repeating it back to you, you haven't said it enough,
Yeah.
right? Like, I tell my guys, like, do everything as though it was going to be published in the newspaper tomorrow. That's like my mantra that I say to them more than almost anything
Love it.
else, because it really just that one line really just underlines, like, if you just do that, I don't care about anything else. I am okay with you making mistakes, but as long
Yeah.
as you're doing that, then we're going to be fine, right? So, yeah, man, talk about that. Like, talk about, like, obviously you're running it like a family. You're showing like your core values of like caring about your employees, right? Like, and actually wanting to make them like family.
Yeah.
Talk about how do you create like a culture like that where everyone's down, everyone's super happy to go to the Philippines and all that
Yeah.
good
I
stuff.
mean, for me, it's showing them that you're about what you say. So if anybody messes with my team, or if they say something, I stick up for them. I'm the leader of it. I'm not the best person manager, so like day to day, but they know, like, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do whatever it takes for them. So, and also at the same time, building the team. We're an investing company. They're seeing the money we make. They see the stuff that we're doing. We also help our team invest in real estate. So if you've been with me long enough, and my team, let's call it a year, we'll help you buy your first flip. You can buy deals off the company. You can buy your rental properties. I'll help you find private money. I'll give you some of my private money. So just like literally letting them be a part of your family, because I'm, at the end of the day, that's all you have, it is your family and people that say they love you. So that's how I run my business and my life.
I love it. I love it, my man. So we're getting to the end here, guys, and this has been a new section of Skorck the Fears I've just been starting. If you guys have questions for Tommy right now, like for the people who are in the audience, who, like, I saw Ahmad had a question, but I wasn't understanding if that was his question. he didn't state it as a question. But if you guys got questions now that you want to ask Tommy real quick, that I'm trying this out as a new section of Skorck the Fears, not just my questions, but your guys' questions as well. So I think I'm going to interpret Ahmad's question here, right here. So he said, I got a question for both of you about mindset. I've noticed that I have inconsistencies in my wholesaling study and haven't closed my first deal yet.
Okay.
I'll let you take that first and go with it however you want. It's kind of like, I think it's just inconsistency problems.
Yeah.
So like just start there.
Yeah. So that's really the big reason why most wholesalers don't get their first deal or they don't do consistent deals is you got to look internally. So if you're not getting that phone to ring and you're not doing active marketing, you're not going to do deals. So as a wholesaler, your job is to be marketing all day, every day. So for me, we market every day, no matter what. If it's Christmas, if it's Thanksgiving, if it's we're in the Philippines for 2 weeks, we're still marketing. So set KPIs or set things for yourself to hit every day. If you pick up the phone and get on a dialer or whatever and call 80 people a day, you're going to get a deal. You will stumble your way into a deal. So it's the output and making sure you're not wavering. So most people when they're wholesaling, they say, "Oh, I'm going to drop texting, and then if that doesn't work for 2 weeks, I'm going to go then do cold calling, and then I'm going to do PPC." Stick to one form of marketing, pound it for 90 days, and then waver if it doesn't work in 90 days. But if you hit one marketing channel for 90 days hard every day, you're going to get a deal.
Yeah, 100%. And my answer to that question really is like staying consistent is everything. Like if you aren't doing that, then there's literally no point in doing this business.
Yep.
Like if you do it badly every single day, you'll get a deal, right?
Yep.
That's the crazy thing about this business. I feel like most other things in life, you have to eventually get good. You could be terrible at this
Terrible.
and still make like at least 60 to 70K a year. You were
Yeah.
just god awful. And if you just did it every single day, right? Like Tommy's saying yes in the background. I don't know how if people can hear him, but like literally you could make just at least a salary if you were just awful and didn't learn anything, but you're also going to get better. It's just going to happen. You are going to get better. Even if you never got a mentor or anything, didn't look at a single YouTube video, you'll get better, right? So anyways, 100%. So let's keep going. Appreciate you coming on, Tommy. I'm a wholesaler, but want to also do flipping. Would you suggest against hiring out a GC? Also, how would you structure your private money on a deal so they feel secured?
So against hiring out a GC, I would say no. So for your first deal as a flipper, you're the risk in that scenario. So especially if you have a little bit of money, that's great, but you don't know construction yet. So whether I would maybe partner with another flipper or get a GC and then get on site every single day while that flip is going. Because really that first flip, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it's the education. So if you can make nothing but learn how to flip a house all the way in that first deal, that is going to pay you for the next 30 years, 40 years of your life, So look at it as an educational piece and not the monetary side. So overpay for a GC that knows what they're doing or take it to a flipper that can help you. And then how would you structure private money on deals so they feel secured? So every private money loan that we do. So just to kind of give you a little bit of reference, I've raised probably $25 million of private money. We have probably 25, 30 private money loans out right now, all from different people. So we put a note and a mortgage on the house. I signed personally on that note as well. So I'm signing a promissory cognovate note. If you don't know what that is, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I can walk you through that. So I'm signing personally on them and I'm giving them great returns. So what that means is they're getting their money backed by a real hard, tangible asset that they can touch and feel. And I'm signing on it personally. So if you have a little bit of liquid assets, if you have something to show for it, that's extra security for that lender.
Yeah. I did my first 2 flips I partnered with someone who already was doing flipping, right?
Perfect.
That's the easiest way to just do it. I like Luke, do not do your first 3 flips by yourself. Do them with someone you trust, right? Who does flipping. I suggest wholesalers do that too with wholesaling. The issue with wholesaling is that there isn't any consequences for you screwing up a deal. And that's why the consequence starts becoming we get a bad name as wholesalers, but it is what it is there,
The best thing for you here too, Luke, is sorry to cut you off there, but
go for it.
You're a wholesaler. You have the deals. So it just takes one of your wholesale deals that you already had and just be like, hey, the person that's buying it, just be like, hey, dude, instead of paying a wholesale fee to me, let's partner. And they want the deal. They're going to say yes.
I love it. I love it so much. Okay, we'll do one last one. So, Anthony, how long did it take to sell your first wholesale deal? I came in late. I might have missed. I'm sorry. How long did it take you from when you were doing it?
Yeah, to sell the deal, I mean, I sold it within 30 days,
I think
but
he means to get your first deal, really, is what he meant.
the kind of 2 years. So I mean,
Right.
I was half-assed doing it for a long time, but it finally got the one in contract. 'Cause, I mean, I got the one that I flipped it, couldn't sell that. So 2 years really to do my first wholesale deal.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay, one last one because that was quick. How are
Oh
you
yeah.
vetting your contractors?
So this is you got to put you got to get on the pavement. You got to go see their jobs. So one is vetting your contractors is never that cut and dry, but you have to get referrals. So any other investor referral that you can get that great. Two, go walk their jobs. Three, don't pay them a deposit. Don't pay them a deposit. Don't pay anything up front. Make sure that they're doing the work and they're getting paid off of a draw schedule. And I mean, you can look them up on the Better Business Bureau, Google. But to be honest, the best contractors that I have, they're not on Google and they're not on the Better Business Bureau. So it's really a lot of referrals, walking job sites, and just don't exchange money until work's actually done and you can verify that it's done well.
I feel like literally the one that I kept hearing over and over again is someone paid like 40K up front and then just the guy dipped with it and didn't do the work. And that's just for the work that they do, right, guys? So cool, man. All right. So we're coming to the end of this podcast, right? I have one last final question I love asking people just really right at the end, which is if you could go back to yourself right when you were starting, right when you were like just getting into real estate, like what would you tell yourself then, knowing everything that you know now?
I love this question because it's the answer to that is going to be this stuff. It's not as hard as you think it is, but it's going to take 10 times as much work and as much time as you think it's going to take. So understanding that it's going to be a battle. It's not a 90-day change your life. It's not even really a year change your life. But if you can buckle down for 2, 3, 5 years and be consistent and not waver and keep those goals and fresh in your mind and not quit, real estate can and will change your life forever. So learn the skills, stumble through it a little bit, fail forward, but keep on going and be consistent.
I love it. I love it so much. Cool, my man. Well, real quick, is there anything you want to plug? Anything that you like? How do people reach out to you? How do people get part of your education program? If they feel like you'd be a cool person to learn from, where can people get more info on those two things? And if there's anything else you want to talk about that you're up to, let me know.
Absolutely. Tommy Harr 05 on Instagram. I post every single day. I go live every Monday. So give a lot of free content out. I just started on YouTube as well. So, and I mean, I'm never really trying to pitch anybody. So real side of real estate, if you guys want to join, give me a DM. I'm not going to spend my time here trying to pitch something on your program, but would love to help you guys out however I possibly can.
I love it. Awesome. But did I spell right? This is it, right?
Yep. That's it right
Okay,
there.
cool. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, my man. I appreciate you. That was a killer interview. I think the audience enjoyed it. I've been enjoying your content, so it was cool to actually have a conversation with you. I thought you would know Austin, right? I had him on. I'm like Columbus, Ohio. Like how big is that city? You know, how many people
It's
even live in Columbus? Like a
It's a
million
it's a
max.
big city. It's a big
Okay.
city, but it's small when it comes to the investing world. Like everybody knows everybody.
Okay. Anyways, I just thought it was I had a feeling. So thank you again. I really appreciate you. If you've got a sec, stay on afterwards. I just want to talk to you about a
Sure.
few things. But thank you so much. Guys, next week I'm doing cash flow and coffee again. Sorry about this week. I was in Jacksonville, Florida for a mastermind. And then next week we'll have somebody on Skorck the Fears and it's gonna be great. Tommy, thank you so much. Do you have any last words?
No, thank you so much for your time. I know it's 10 minutes late as well, so everybody in here as well. This is my first time doing a live one with some comments. Loved it.
Nice.
Appreciate everybody. Thank you so much, and always value your guys' time. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool, guys. All right, that's Skorck the Fears, episode 113. Let's freaking go.